Welcome to the Transcendent Money Podcast, a safe space where co-creators of the new earth discover the power of transcendent financial living, a new personal economics paradigm based on the consciousness of oneness. Hi, this is Carmen Ortiz, and I am the very and profoundly grateful host of this new podcast, Transcendent Money. And the reason why I say grateful host is because it is a blessing for me, a very, very big blessing and a privilege to be here with you, to be of service in this conversation, and which is a conversation that I want to bring all of us together. I want all of us to bring it to the world. And it's the Transcendent Money conversation. Now, our audience are people that consider themselves, just like you, spiritual, non-religious. We know that we're spiritual beings, that we're living this cosmic reality, see, in this body, in this reality 3D, looking to move towards dimensions 4D and even 5D. And we, as spiritual beings, earth angels, as I like to call you all, we're looking to co-create together, in collaboration, a new earth. And for this to happen, we need our holistic financial well-being. Notice the word holistic and the word financial. Because we as co-creators of the new earth, we're very, very committed to our holistic well-being. But for some reason, the money aspects of our well-being usually are not addressed, at least not addressed from our financial wisdom, from our spiritual and personal power, with the right knowledge and the right tools, because we don't have them available. We don't know where to find them. We may have trust issues with the financial advisors of the world. And so we don't have the right information, the right knowledge, practical knowledge, and the practical tools to be wise with all of our money decisions, all of our money actions in a way that align with our values and that support humanity and the planet. And that is the Transcendent Money conversation. And this podcast is for all of humanity and by all of humanity. This is not a Carmen Ortiz podcast. This is a podcast that's created to bring forth to the world, as future humans that we are, so that we can create the future right now, starting today, together in what I would consider a radical conversation. So it's for all of us. You might participate as a listener. You might say, hey, Carmen, on a comment or an email that you might be sending me, I want to engage with you in one of the podcast episodes. So on a regular basis, we will bring people, okay, from our listener base to have this conversation with us on this podcast. And of course, we'll have our guests. And when I say guests, I mean beyond our listeners, the so-called expert guests in some type of topic, the evolutionary leaders of the world that are really making things happen. I want to talk to them. What do I want to talk to them about? I want to talk to them about transcendent money. Yeah. And how do we move from this cosmic reality to a higher level of awareness with our lives that I'm calling transcendent financial living. How do we do that? Where do we go for the tools, for the information, for the knowledge? That's why we're here. That's why we created this company, Transcendent Financial Living. And that's why we have this podcast. We have our YouTube channel. We have our blog. And I'll be sharing content along the lines or on the topic of Transcendent Financial Living in a variety of ways with humanity. Okay, so specifically, we've got a few categories, 4 or 5 categories that we want to zero in on, okay, with this podcast. And one of the categories is called Transcendent Money Conflicts, or I should say Transcending Money Conflicts. And what this means is going beyond our money traumas, our money scripts, our childhood experiences around money that today have us blocked when it comes to our abundance and our prosperity. And everything related to our money today is being hampered, is being blocked by these scripts that were created when we were 3, 4, 5, 7, 12, 15 years old. So we got to transcend our money traumas, our money conflicts. That's one of the categories we want to talk about here. And we'll bring in people like psychologists, financial therapists that are also financial planners to help us and to guide us in that particular conversation. We also want to talk about transcending money behaviors. Yes, because I want to address, how do our personal finances, how does every action that we take with our money align with our values and affirm life? How do our money behaviors support humanity and the planet? In other words, going beyond our own well-being. How do they support our own well-being? Because it starts there, right, with ourselves. But how do these money behaviors or money actions, I also call them, how do they support our financial well-being and free us up, okay, without barriers and without fears, to support our sacred mission, to live our higher purpose, to support humanity and the planet? What is the impact of every action that we take with $1 that's in our pocket and that leaves our pocket? What is the impact of that action? Is it affirming life or is it extracting from life? This is the category here in our topics called Transcending Money Actions. There's another topic that we want to talk about here. These are our categories on our blog as well. So if you go to transcendentfinancialliving.com and you click on the tab blog, you're going to read articles, and our podcast will be there also as part of those articles on these categories or these subtopics that I'm sharing with you now. And one of the subtopics is I'm calling it Transcending Retirement. Now that's an interesting one, right? And when we transcend retirement, there's something out there that's called unretirement. And that's what I believe in. And I think that we, as microcosmic co-creators of the new world, as future humans creating the future starting today, that we are not planning to retire anytime soon. I mean, you might be in your 40s, you might be in your 50s, you might be in your 60s, or you might even be in your 70s, just like I am. I'm not planning to retire. I'm never going to retire. So I call it unretirement. That means when we just shift gears and move from one way of serving humanity and the planet to another format. But it's still the same mission. It's still the sacred mission because it is service to others, to humanity and the planet. It is co-creating the new planetary civilization with all that we've got to give it. All of it. And all of it includes all of our capitals, our experiential capital, our knowledge capital, spiritual capital, our cultural capital, and our financial capital, and other types of capital. Let's leave it at that. And our time, right? Because it's all energy. So we approach it and we give it our all. That means we're giving it all we've got, total commitment, 100% in with all we've got, with all our talents, our gifts, our spiritual power, our money, and our time. So yeah, that's what I'm calling on retirement. How does that sound to you? If it resonates, then you're in the right place, my friend. Let's talk. I want to talk to you. And then another category is financial planning, transcendent. We call it here transcendent financial planning. And this is where we're going to get into, for example, the new economy. Right? We know that we need to shift the current failed economic paradigm. That doesn't work for anybody, except for the millionaires and the billionaires. So we need new systems, new economic systems, new financial systems, clearly. I say, let's build a new system from the ground up with a global movement. And one of the purposes of Transcendent Financial Living, one of our commitments, one of our goals, our vision is to create a Transcendent Financial Living global movement of people that are committed to the new earth, creating the new earth, not just for ourselves, but for future generations, for our children, for our grandchildren. Let's leave this planet better than what it is right now. To do that, we need a new economic system, and we can create it through global movements, and we can make that shift from the ground up. Okay? So, and the way to do it, I believe, is through transcendent financial planning. And I say transcendent, we use the word transcendent, because transcendent financial planning, of course, it includes traditional financial planning as espoused by the International Standards Board of Certified Financial Planners, to which I belong as a certified financial planner since 1988. So, of course, we include traditional financial planning. We even go beyond and include life-centered financial planning as espoused by George Kinder and Dick Wagner. They created this new way of doing financial planning in the late 90s. And still today, that would be what, like almost 30 years later, is not accessible to 99.9% of the human race. It's just not accessible. There are not enough people trained in life-centered financial planning. So that what's out there is traditional financial planning, mostly mechanistic and reductionistic financial planning, which says, for example, okay, you need a financial plan, let me sell you a life insurance. Or let me sell you a mutual fund, or let me help you with your IRA or with your 401k. Well, that is not financial planning. That is mechanistic, reductionistic, right? Taking it all apart, not seeing the interconnectedness of all aspects of our financial life. And someone is selling you a product. And with that, you're supposed to feel, fine, and that you have financial well-being today and into the future. That's just not the way it goes. So we need new financial planning paradigms and approaches. And transcendent financial planning is both. It's a new financial planning paradigm that takes us from the egocentric, me-centric life approach to life, to a not just a we-centric, but an all-centric. In other words, where all of our money actions or behaviors with our personal finances are executed so that we could support the well-being of all, which of course includes us and our loved ones. But it goes way beyond, because it goes to the well-being of humanity and the planet. That's transcendent financial planning, a new paradigm and also a new approach, because we believe that every person on the planet deserves to live a transcendent financial life, defined as a life where we take every single action from wisdom, from spiritual power, and from personal power, so that we design our own holistic financial well-being, and we're freed up to serve humanity and the planet. That is a transcendent financial life. And we believe that the way to get there is through transcendent financial planning. Therefore, if we believe that everyone deserves to live a transcendent financial life, that means that everyone needs to have access to transcendent financial planning. So what did we do? We created a self-directed system that is accessible to everyone, to all of humanity. Okay, so we want to talk about our transcendent financial planning system in this Transcendent Money podcast. And if in the meantime you want to learn all about it, you go to transcendentfinancialliving.com. But I can tell you that it is a 10-step process that is extremely powerful, that is based on a unitive narrative and on the consciousness of oneness. Okay? And that moves you towards that transcendent financial life that you're deeply seeking, consciously or unconsciously, and for certain you deserve. And the last topic on this Transcendent Money podcast that we're going to talk about is oneness money. How does that sound? Oneness money is really money from the perspective of a unitive narrative, because we do need a new money story, right? The money story that we're living today is just not it. It's not working, and it's not taking us to any place that we want to be. It's keeping us totally divided, separated from each other, separated from our own divine self, separated from nature. So we need a new money story. And that money story that we're bringing forth is based on the consciousness of oneness, that expanded consciousness that says that everything is interrelated. Okay? That we are interrelated with everybody, every human soul, every animal, nature. Okay? The interrelatedness of all. And that includes our life, right? Taking a look at our life, our well-being holistically, all aspects of our life, our mental health, our physical health, our spiritual health, our emotional health, and our financial health. And when we zero in on our financial health, then it includes all aspects of our personal finances, all aspects of money in our lives. And that is transcendent financial planning. If that resonates, then you are definitely in the right place. It's a new conversation around money, a new conversation regarding financial planning, cracking it open so that everyone can have access to this beautiful 10-step process that we've created called Transcendent Financial Planning. So these are the topics of this Transcendent Money podcast. As I said, this is for humanity. So we'll have, episodes where I'll be talking to people that are going through their transcendent financial planning process. I will be interviewing and conversing with guests on different aspects of life and how do we create this new world, to evolutionary leaders, to conscious entrepreneurs, conscious financial planners as well. And I am available to be interviewed or to converse with other podcast hosts. So any podcast that is aligned with our values, that is bringing forth knowledge, information, and tools so that the co-creators of the new earth can move forward with their mission, with their sacred mission, okay, then I would be honored It would be my blessing to be on your podcast, just like it would be my blessing for you to be on this one. So radical collaboration is the way to go. We need to bring forth just one unified conversation regarding the co-creation of the new planetary civilization. I also want to end by saying that if you've heard of Dr. Annalo Smithman and Earthwise, she created the most amazing document called the Earthwise Constitution for a Planetary Civilization. I am a steward of that constitution. I had the privilege of translating it into Spanish, so it's available in Spanish. And we here at Transcending Financial Living are a case study of that constitution. So all that is espoused in that constitution, we honor it and we seek to apply it in all that we do here in this company called Transcendent Financial Living. And our conversations on this money podcast will be bringing forth the elements, the principles, and the commitments of the Earthwise Constitution for a planetary civilization. So, my friends, thank you for joining me in this. This is the launch episode of our Transcendent Money podcast. So if you listen to it all the way to the end, I am honored that you have joined me. I look forward to having you subscribe to this podcast and to share it widely with your friends, family, and associates. Because together, we can shift the economic paradigm and we can co-create a more beautiful planet that our hearts know is possible. Be well, signing off, Carmen Ortiz.